Lawyers can make a difference in the lives of those who need it most. We will see how lawyers help 9/11 victims, at-risk middle school students, and why their demand is high. Meet Henry, who attended Lewis P. Slade Middle School in New Britain, Connecticut. The dean and other school officials classified Henry as an at-risk student. At-risk students are those who are in danger of dropping out with almost no chances of recovering. But there's hope. Don Tutson is a lawyer who joined a pro bono law project in New Britain, Connecticut through the Connecticut Bar Association. In this building, training between law students and lawyers takes place to form the Truancy Project. Lawyers and at-risk students are paired up for a Big Brother experience in this project. Don Tutson says through this program, he's seen Henry's success.
But the potential that I noticed is really what he took hold of. And he was even able to do that when he was feeling down about himself. And I see that transition now, and he's become a much more confident person, and actually sounds like he likes school now and enjoys going versus where he was hesitant and would have an excuse why he didn't go, why I was late. I haven't heard that this year, so it's been very rewarding to see that. I would say I got to a position where I was a bit of the go-between between the school and his parents at home. There was a gap, I think, between the two forces there that he kind of fell between. So I was able to coordinate with, say, the dean of students and one of his social workers especially to really get insight onto what was bothering him. And once I was able to do that and talk with his mother at home, we were able to encourage him and point him in the right direction and help him stay focused. And when you're a student who's missed the number of days that he had missed, you're in jeopardy of having the court system become involved. And that's really, it was to Henry's credit that he saw that coming and his family saw it coming, and they voluntarily went into this program first, which was very important because you don't want to get the students who are already dropped out or already so far gone that the court system has to take over. You want to actually get them while they still are in school and have the resources available. So I think once I was involved and helped focus him, his parents, and the school kind of on the same page, it became easier, I thought, for him to say, hey, I'm going to go to school today instead of I'm going to blow it off.
We visited Henry's house in New Britain and spoke with his mother. She says she has seen the improvement since the time when Henry did not want to go to school.
He's not the type that liked to buckle down a lot. So it was confusing for him quite a lot. A lot of people didn't understand him. He was not a fast learner.
I was always skipping classes, and I was picking on kids. So, yeah.
And then your lawyer showed up and threatened you, right? And said, you don't do that anymore, and you've changed right away. Right? Isn't that what happened? Yeah. His mother and his stepfather were very involved at that point. So when he was absent or late, I would get a phone call with an explanation versus they didn't know where he was, they didn't know why he was late, they didn't understand why he was getting in trouble at school. All those things became part of the conversation between the parents, the school, and myself. He is a bright young man. He just had a little focus problem. So he would get frustrated, and not going to school was the outlet.
He'd start saying, well, my throat hurts. I got a test today. I was like, what are you afraid of? Don't be afraid of tests. Or he's like, and then we would get into an argument about it. And that's when I would just be like, okay, I'm not gonna argue. Just let him cool down. And by that time, it was too late to get him to school.
Henry now attends E.C. Goodwin Technical High School in New Britain, where he focuses on heating, ventilation, and air conditioning.
Throughout the whole exploratory program, where I go to every trade, that was the highest one I got in. I got 98 in that one.
Kids also have different time horizons. We as adults, especially in the law world, we go on increments of 30 days, 60 days. And if you're 30 days out with one of your students and you haven't shown interest or shown sort of the reward that they deserve, you can lose them. So I think going forward, mentors and attorneys should look to really staying on top of their kids and incentivizing them each week with the program, because it's very important.
It's just an actually really nice gentleman to be around, and I would definitely vote for Don if he ever ran for president.
9/11 was a tumultuous time for American citizens. However, lawyers around the country and in Connecticut found their way to help victims and their families through the clouds of smoke. Richard Bieder is a nationally recognized attorney who organized 1,700 lawyers to represent victims on a pro bono basis.
So all of our lawyers, all 1,700 of them, put in their time and effort on behalf of their particular clients and didn't charge any fees. And since we collected, I think, maybe $2.5 billion for our people, even at 10%, the lawyers that were in the program gave up a substantial amount of. I know from experience that when a loved one dies, especially dies suddenly, the life of the surviving spouse and children is forever knocked asunder.
And the bottom line is the assistance we're trying to provide is not simply to provide lawyers to people requesting lawyers, but to provide assistance for those people who cannot afford to retain lawyers on their own.
Michael Getnick, president of the New York Bar Association, explains pro bono law work as a whole. Pro bono law work is emphasized at the bar, where lawyers offer their time and services for free to those who cannot afford one. One challenge for lawyers in situations like these is making sure they don't let their emotions get the best of them, says Richard Bieder.
When gifts are made, who benefits from the gift? The person who receives the gift and the person who gives the gift. And that's the way pro bono works as well.
Compassion fatigue was a term that I had experienced, but I had not seen dealt with formally. But Jeff Dion had a part of his discussion was as I had 20 cases and other people in my office took on 20 cases. You're listening to the victims, each of the victims tell their story and tell their tale of woe. It has a dramatic effect on us. It had a dramatic effect on me as a lawyer. And what Jeff was trying to basically say is, don't be afraid to seek counseling yourself.
Getnick says there are only certain people qualified to receive pro bono law services.
It's important to understand that under the federal guidelines, I don't know the exact numbers, but it would be a very low number for somebody to qualify for federally funded civil legal services. And if you had a family of 2, the number would increase a little bit, a family of 3, etc. And what has happened here is people who have well qualified that still does not mean that there are attorneys representing them. So somebody may qualify for federally funded civil legal services, but if there are not the attorneys to provide the services, it really has no meaning relative to actual access to justice.
There is a large need for pro bono lawyers, but the experience is another benefit, says Judge Jim Abrams.
So getting it early and getting a lot of it, I think makes people far better litigators.
I think in addition that some of the law schools now are making it possible that if attorneys are willing to go into pro bono situations or legal services programs, that they're willing to forgive some of the tuition that's due, some of the financing that's due. So there may be an extra initiative as well.
There can be many dimensions to law. Following the law, using the law to win a case, and using the law to help those who need it most. Lawyer fees can be distracting when justice needs to be heard.